claps.
Happen. You're going around the twist, around the twist.
Twist. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ETTO Comic Cast for October of 2021. I am your host. I am your host, Benjamin Ben Argle. To my right is William Will Yates. To my further right is Josh Lawrence.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And what are we looking at this week, Ben?
What are we looking at?
What are we reading?
This week, this month? We are looking at the Totally Awesome Hulk.
We're good.
Yeah, you might wonder, why are we looking at the Totally Awesome Hulk?
Yeah,
That's
there's always a theme. Every month there's a theme. There's a reason why we read this.
Why aren't you reading Carnage, perhaps?
Why aren't we reading Carnage, Ben?
Well, because Sony hates us, that's why. But there is a thing coming out in October, tiny little Guardians of the Galaxy game. And again, you might be like, well, Hulk, not Guardians of the Galaxy. Famously not Hulk. Not famous. Hulk, famously not the Hulk.
One of the few characters I don't think has ever been in. Most characters have been in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But Hulk hasn't.
He's been to space, but he hasn't been in Guardians of the Galaxy. But no, in the Guardians of the Galaxy game, one of the things we have revealed is that there is a character called Lady Hellbender, and no one knows who the hell she is. Good pun there. But in fact, her first appearance was in the Totally Awesome Hulk 2015, issues 1 to 4, which is also the first appearance of Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. He appeared 10 years previously as Amadeus Cho, but it took him 10 years to be anything more than a smart person.
Oh. There you go.
So yeah, in 2015, they turned him into the Hulk. He became the new Hulk. And we will learn why as we talk about these comics.
Yeah, the whole origin is also covered in this 4 issues, which is a great coincidence for us, I guess, for this series.
Yep. Yeah. So we ticked Amadeus Cho off the list for whenever we need that done.
Well, we can read these again next year when She-Hulk comes around. We can reread them. Well, what we can do is just re-release this podcast with a different title. Yeah. This one can be The Origins of Lady Hellbender. Yeah. And then when we release it again next year, whenever She-Hulk comes out, we just call it The Origins of Amadeus Cho. Easy.
Yep.
Done.
Content done.
Except you did the one thing wrong. It's who is Lady Hellbender with lots of exclamation points.
That's true. Yeah.
Who
is she?
And it's like it's a fan art of her in the thumbnail that makes it look like she's in the MCU. Yeah. So make sure you do that too.
Yeah, totally. 100%. But yeah, no, it's very, very fun little comic. I think we all briefly had a chat about it before we started recording. It's just like a fun, good time, I would say. It's not like
it is
the most special, splendiferous, spectacular comic ever, but it is totally awesome. No, it's a good, fun time. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Especially, I like that we just read 4 issues. Although apparently, according to our viewers, it gets better after these 4.
But the reason why we're reading it it doesn't exist in those issues anymore anyway. So maybe we will outside of the thing.
Maybe we'll outside of this, or maybe we'll inside of this. Who knows? But let's
while we're recording.
Who knows? We'll just get it all out. We'll read. Just be silence for a little while.
Just be silence for a bit.
Yeah. That's the kind of content you all want.
Silent reading, like primary school.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Silent reading was like a pretty good thing, honestly. Just like dedicated time to read and be silent. I wish I could do that these days. I mean, I can. I'm an adult. I have control over my own destiny, but
destiny. Like that, silent reading would be within your destiny.
Yeah.
Everything it all accumulates.
It all accumulates.
Ben could be a very, very big silent reader.
That could be a big silent reader. In fact, I just read very loudly. That's the main thing.
That's the problem.
If you got some notes to read us, I
do have some notes to read you. Yeah, I definitely do. So let's jump into our little segment we like to call Comic Curiosities, where we run you through the authors, the writers, the artists, all that stuff. Will did a little jiggle, not because we have any music that goes under that, but just because he wanted to.
One day we'll get some.
One day,
get some stings.
One day, I have some ideas for some stings that'll come later in this. So we're starting to develop some ideas.
Every breath you take.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
very good. That was Sting.
Mm-hmm.
The writer of Totally Awesome Hulk, Greg Pak, spelt P-A-K, but it rhymes with rock. I learned, so it's Greg Pak.
You learnt.
Yeah.
Before now, you had no idea any word could rhyme with rock.
Well, no, it's the fact that it's spelled P-A-K, but it rhymes with rock. Yeah.
P-A-K, but it's rock.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think it would.
Yeah.
It makes more sense. Yeah, shut up, Will.
Shut up,
Put
Will.
Ben down like that. How dare you?
How fucking dare you?
How dare you? A Korean-American writer. All the creators on this, Korean-American.
Cool.
Amadeus Cho, Korean-American Hulk. As we mentioned, was it? Shang-Chi was the last one we did. Yeah, they're getting like actual people with that background to write the comics. Always a good idea.
Yes, certainly.
But yeah, he has quite the Hulk lineage. I didn't realize he wrote Planet Hulk and its follow-up World War Hulk and a bunch of spin-offs around it. Now, if you don't know a lot about Hulk, those are like two of the most famous Hulk storylines. Planet Hulk.
The only ones.
Yeah. Planet Hulk was the one that got kind of riffed off a bit in Ragnarok, which I read last year, and learnt that Korg and Meek also in the Planet Hulk storyline, but way less cool. So yeah. And then follow up World War Hulk, which was just like Hulk being angry at the world, which he's always angry.
Ended.
So yeah, he wrote those two as well as like a bunch of spin-offs around it. Wrote a bunch of X-Men comics. He wrote the Storm standalone in 2014 and the Weapon X series in 2017. Little tie-in to one of our comic casts. He wrote the Iron Man House of M tie-in comic, which is a good little comic. He also wrote Hercules, War Machine, Silver Surfer, and Red Skull, like individual series at various points. Interesting character like selection there, but I like it. It's different. And then most of his current work is on the Agents of Atlas series, which is kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D., but in Asia. And he's also doing some spin-offs for it around some of those characters, Arrow and Swordmaster. He's also written a bit for DC. He did a long run on Batman / Superman, not Batman versus Superman. And then this is great. Other work includes a bunch of tie-in comics to a bunch of other properties, including Firefly comic for Boom Studios, spin-off comics for Battlestar Galactica, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, John Wick, and James Bond, all for Dynamite Entertainment.
God, this guy doesn't
Turok like the video.
Yeah, Turok, the Nintendo 64 video game. He wrote a tie-in comic to it.
That's amazing.
It's so good.
What a busy boy. Oh my god.
And he was also the cinematographer for the 1998 documentary short, The Personals, Improvisations on Romance in the Golden Years, which was directed by his wife. It won the Oscar for documentary short subject in 1999.
The hell?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. God. You wanted some facts? I got some facts this time.
That's some
loud
facts.
Yeah. Greg Pak. Done a lot of stuff.
That's like the first fact machine.
Yeah.
It was just very loud and long.
Yeah, definitely. Greg Pak, rhymes with rock, done a lot of stock. It was kind of, that didn't really work. But, you know, we'll move on.
Claim it.
We'll move on. Artist and cover artist, Frank Cho. Eisner Award alert. Maybe we can get a sting for that. Won in 2000 for Best Cover Artist. Don't know what on, but he won it.
He did a whole album of Blink 182.
Yeah.
And just all of their songs.
Yeah.
Great cover album. Yeah.
Great cover album. Totally Awesome Hulk is probably his most high-profile work. However, he was also a writer and artist on the 2013 series Savage Wolverine, where Wolverine went to the Savage Land.
I think I have those.
You may.
Pretty sure I bought that series.
I want the MCU to work out how to get the Savage Lands in there.
It would be cool.
Stupid idea. But
it would be cool. Well, I will say there is a Kazar Lord of the Savage Land solo run that's just started coming out. So maybe they're teasing something there.
On their way.
I can see it being a Disney Plus series. Maybe Disney Plus Day, November. We'll see. Very possibly.
It's true.
Ray
Bill and Kazar.
Yeah, totally. Frank Cho also just done many covers on many things. I'm not going to list them all. Most recently, extensive run on Harley Quinn comics. up until 2020. So like the very recent, he's done a lot of them.
I've seen Cho on so many covers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
See like, that come up all the time.
I went down the list and I was like, okay, let's just pick one out of this. There's too much going on here.
Most of his art is also what gets translated into statues. I think all the Harley Quinn, most of the Harley Quinn statues are Frank Cho art that has been molded into a full statue.
Very talented. Yeah, very
probably
talented.
Probably seen it in that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
Yep. And the colorist, Sonia Obeck. Extensive history working on comics across Marvel, DC, independent studios, a lot of that. Mostly, probably her most notable one, she worked on the X-23 solo comic, X-23 Target X, in 2006. I believe that was X-23's first solo run.
Yeah, cool.
Because it was right after.
Taylor as well?
Possibly, no, I'm not sure.
I feel like he's definitely done an X-23, but yeah.
Oh, he did like the main all-new Wolverine. Yeah, okay. I know that. Yeah, I know that for sure. But this was like back right after, in the comics continuity, she like broke out of containment. So
yeah, cool.
And then Sonia Obeck now also works as part of the Marvel Animation Studios, not the What If studio, but like just the more kid-focused animated shows like Guardians and a few of the other ones I've seen.
Yeah.
Can't remember, but
Spideys and stuff.
Yeah, some of the more recent ones. She's done a bit of work on that.
Yeah,
nice.
So yeah, those are the main creators for this. Pretty interesting bunch of people. Pretty talented bunch of people. In terms
multimedia,
of multimedia, indeed,
most of them
Oscar-winning, Eisner Award-winning, Animation Award-winning. Probably not, but you know,
maybe not. But animator,
or
at least working in animation and not just still image.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. This comic marks Amadeus' first appearance as the Hulk. As I mentioned earlier, he previously appeared as Amadeus Cho up in as early as 2005. But yeah. He was just a smart person. Just had he was like the 7th smartest person in the world, or 8. I can't remember what they talk about in this. I think there's and there's a joke that because he once was the 7th, and then someone got added as the 8th, so I think they make a joke out of that. Mm-hmm. And then the person we're reading this whole comic for, Lady Hellbender, this was her first appearance. She's made one other one in a Venom annual in 2019, where she tried to collect the symbiote. And
bizarre
character.
That is insane. But I guess that story idea makes sense. But for anyone that has no idea who she is, her just turning up and just being like what would be the crossover between Totally Awesome Hulk and Venom fans? It's such a.
It's very odd, but I like her concept as a character. I hope maybe Guardians like push her into a few more things because she's basically just the collector, but for monsters.
Yeah, because she doesn't seem evil.
No. Well,
she seems evil in the same way the collector does. Yeah. It's like, you're a bit...
Definitely in a grey area.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, though. I don't know, maybe in the Venom comic you see it, but at least in these issues, you don't see her base. You see her ship. Maybe they're on her ship in the game, but we clearly are seeing her vault. From what we've seen.
Yeah, I think we're seeing her base. I think we're going to the planet that she mentions, which I can't remember, but maybe Josh has written in his notes. We'll find out as we jump into issue 1. And we're going to do a thing. Josh is going to read the plots. We're going to do the plot beforehand. Josh has lost the plot, and then he's found it. So he's going to read for us. He's going to read the plot.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to read through just like a blanket idea of the plot. And then we're going to run through our other thoughts around the comic and see how it works. Yeah. We're also not going to include viewer comments in the main thing. We're just going to run through some viewer comments at the end just to see how it all flows out. We're testing some things. We're testing the waters. Yeah. We're putting the feelers out there.
Do you want to hear a shorter podcast? That's what we're trying this week.
That's what we're trying. Yeah, totally.
Cool. So I think issue 1 for most of these will always be the longest because it always establishes most of the storylines. There's always multiple storylines going on in a lot of the series that we read. So issue 1, fairly fresh to the hero game, Amadeus Cho. I wrote Chi. Wow, I got it wrong straight up. Amadeus Cho, the 8th smartest person in the world, as we established earlier, and a constantly flirty 19-year-old. That is Amadeus Cho. That's not 2 different people. He's just him. Has Hulk-like powers. I was questioning suppressed by a watch device, because at the start when he's eating, He goes to his watch and does something, so it seems to be almost like a suppressor to hold back full Hulkage.
Totally. It's a thing that She-Hulk has had for quite a while as well. Cool. It's like a device in the comics that they've kind of built around.
Sweet. Yeah, cool. Sweet. So he has help from his man in the chair, which is his younger sister. I think they said she was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy?
Yep.
Mandy? Maddie.
It's Mandy.
Wrote that wrong too.
Mandy in the chair.
Who communicates with him through a flying robot thing. Just follows him around all the time and seems to have a
little trash bin.
A little
nicknamed
speaker that talks to him.
Nicknamed
that's the
Kegger.
one.
Very cute.
Didn't write that down. But
it looks like a flying keg, basically.
Nice. I like it. Cool. So basically, overall, there's been a bunch of monsters popping up around the world that Amadeus fights and shrinks down with his sister. So they're sort of containing them and shrinking them down so that they're manageable. And he travels around with his sister in a flying food truck that says Meat Wagon on the side, which is great.
Yeah.
We meet the reason we're reading this series, Lady Hellbender, towards the end of this issue, when Amadeus shows up in New Zealand to help Miles Morales and She-Hulk, who appear throughout the whole series, fight two other monsters, Nasha Nash and Gasha Gash. Which is great. After they're subdued, Lady Hellbender pops out of nowhere, smashing Amadeus to the ground and announcing that she's the monster queen from Seknarf 9. So I did write it down.
That's
where she's from.
Wonderful.
Seknarf 9. And then within all of these as well, there are constant flashbacks. You'd never really get all that much extra information as they go, but I'll fill in the little bits that we get. But the overall idea is that there's a flashback to Iron Man, Black Panther, Hulk, and Monica Rappaccini. Rappaccini? I don't know. Yeah. AIM Scientist Supreme.
Famously of the Avengers video game.
Yes.
And the MODOK.
And the MODOK series.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also
two things Will loves.
Marvel comics.
Yeah. Sometimes.
And she seems to be good in this. She seems to be helping. I'm not really sure what her backstory is.
She's always a bit in the grey, I find.
Yeah, probably something like that. But they're attempting to save people from a potentially nuclear meltdown in some islands. I forgot to write down which islands. But
Kenya, off the coast of Kenya.
Cool. Yeah.
Famously with a Y in it, opposed to Kenna British.
I can't remember if that was on a stream or off a stream.
It was off stream, but
yeah.
Good old Ben.
I feel like I knew that joke. I feel like maybe it was a little bit on stream. Maybe a bit of the in joke leaked into the.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the three of us.
No, it was the three of us chatting off a stream.
I thought it was on Back Pocket.
No.
Yeah.
Cool. Fair enough. And Bruce Banner's Hulk goes in and absorbs all of the radiation, but it is nuclear radiation, which is not gamma. That's not Hulk's thing. So it kind of freaks out Hulk's body a little bit, and he absorbs it all, and he's holding it in. But it's the nuclear radiation is going to be super dangerous if it gets out, and it seems to be growing inside him. So he is fighting to keep it in so that they can evacuate everyone before it either explodes out of him or kills him and probably then explodes out of him, causing a huge problem. But everyone's still on the island getting evacuated. So so that's it. That's issue 1. That's pretty much everything in issue 1.
Yeah, totally. Let's jump into some of the notes I had on this. I think it's quite a good little issue. Good little introductory thing. I didn't expect to get as much Bruce Banner as we did. Well, I don't know why I didn't expect to get Bruce Banner. But I was like, I don't know. I just thought he'd get gamma irradiated from something else. I knew so little about Amadeus Cho that having the storyline tied in there was very cool. And I was definitely in this first issue, I was like, man, I hope we get more of this. This looks cool. I don't know if I got as much as I wanted to, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the start, we find out that the scale for smartest person in the world is the Pim Von Doom raw calc scale, which I like.
Good.
And Amadeus is 8th in it, which is very, very cool.
Yes.
He's drinking a kale smoothie. And I just wanted to say here that kale sucks. Very bad.
Yeah.
I just got a bro from the other corner of the room. But anyway, kale sucks. And I'm dying on that hill.
He's drinking that whilst eating 8 burgers.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And we're gonna jump into some little comic panels that showed up, because I just wanted to point out, look at his calves. Look at these Hulk calves.
Look at those knees.
Look at those knees.
Specifically knees, because there's 3 there.
Yeah, oh my God, there is so much. But yeah, this is the first little bit we gave his transformation, which I thought was very cool. And then we also get a very fantastic title page. This has to be up there for like top title pages. I know I know it's just a title page, but it's very cool. Especially because like it took me a while to realize it, but like obviously normally they list like writer, artist, colorer, but they do it in just like images this time. So you've got little paper for the writer, you got the little paintbrushes, then you got the color wheel, and then for the letterer you got like the ABC. I think it's very cool. Very cute.
They legitimately look like app logos.
Yeah.
Like, I would totally imagine that would be a real thing.
And like a lot of other companies do it. Marvel don't often show off other variants, but I love that covers is a tab on there and you can see one of the other variants as well.
Totally.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Totally. We may or may not have a variant segment coming up as well.
Ooh, excellent.
And then we have another cool little thing that I noticed when he's fighting this turtle on the beach initially. This is one of the earlier monsters he's fighting. We get Dante's propane, which I thought was very cool, which he uses to defeat this double-headed turtle thing, whatever it is, which also obviously a reference to Dante's Inferno, the book or whatever, but also there's a Marvel character, Dante, whose codename is Inferno from the Inhumans. Briefly shows up in the Avengers game. You thought I wouldn't bring that game back up? Well, I did.
Come back around.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, just as I'm going through these, very nice art, good use of onomatopoeia, all that stuff. Frank Cho doing a good job.
Very cool.
I love the foom and the foop.
The foom and the foop. Yeah. Foop. We'll get a bit more foom later. And then there's this. Which is just part of me is like, I'm glad they censored it, but part of me is like curious.
And you said the image should be going vertically.
Yeah, totally.
It shouldn't be horizontal.
Weird that it's kind of up and angled a little bit.
Yeah, for audio listeners, it's a naked Hulk with a censored thing over his.
And it seems to imply that his penis is not enlarged.
Yes,
because it is not apparent in any way. So it must be the size of the normal man's penis.
Yes.
And it also almost hints that maybe they did draw it, but then they censored over the top, because it also says censored, so the editorial staff can keep their jobs. So it's like, maybe they actually drew him naked, and then the editors
there's definitely a version somewhere.
Yeah. This isn't Batman.
No.
Can't draw a penis.
No. Can't even really do it in Batman, but they did.
They tried.
They did.
Yeah. I like the hover car meat wagon that we get. Not this meat wagon, the meat wagon.
We didn't get it.
Very good.
And Josh mentioned we get Nasher Nash and Gasher Gash, and Hulk has a cute line afterwards where it's like Nasher Nash, Gasher Gash, and Hulk, and then he makes a joke and it's like Hulk smash, and no one likes it, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's pretty good.
And then I think I'll go to the next one, or there might be one in between. Oh yeah, this is a little bit where it's like a good allegory across all 4 comics we get. It's basically like when Cho goes into his brain, we get a look at him in his like fast car, and he's kind of keeping Hulk in the back like he's in control, and he's like taped over the back, but it looks very insecure.
Yeah.
That Hulk is going to break out for sure. And I like that they kind of keep coming back to this. And then
it's a good Chekhov's gun.
For sure. Very good Chekhov's gun. And I like this. This is Hulk and She-Hulk and Amadeus teaming up to fight Nasher and Gash. Man, it's tough. Nash and Gash and Gash and Gash.
They're down now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just go Nash and Gash.
Nash and Gash. But my favorite bit of this is just Miles at the bottom. Miles, in my opinion, is great across all of these, because he's just like there, just like trying to help as much as he can, but he is like very underpowered for what is going on. And so I like this, just him going doing a little pow here and just going, and stay down, which is very nice.
It's very cute.
I think when I was reading through the viewer comments, Joshy mentioned that he didn't like that Miles was just reduced to comic relief in this, but to me, I like that it's kind of this is Miles that is like most Spider-Man quippy, which I do really like because he is that.
Yeah, and sure. I just think he's well written as Miles. Like all the lines don't feel like a Peter Parker line. Like I read them as Miles Morales as well, which is good.
Totally. And then at the end we get Lady Hellbender quite literally stepping on Amadeus.
Yep.
Which is very good. And kind of just in general for this issue, I like quite a lot how they're setting up Amadeus to be a cocky and bullish teenager, who's a bit out of his depth, a bit flirty, and is like trying to act like he's the best Hulk, but he's clearly like got some baggage. I don't know. I feel like a lot of teenage superheroes tend to be, they can be a bit like cocky and quippy. Like Miles is definitely that, but they often tend to be a lot more like, oh my God, I'm out of my depth and I'm just like stressed and everything's going on and that kind of thing. But Amadeus really is like playing up like, no, I'm cocky. I'm in control of everything that's going on, which I like a lot.
And there's also not as much of a like, I want to be better than Bruce Banner thing. Like,
totally.
There's certainly a little bit in there, but a lot of it was always that kind of thing of I want to be the best Spider-Man, or like I could never live up to being Spider-Man. He just feels like it's fine, like I'm doing my thing. And he did his thing. I'm doing my thing.
I'm the new Hulk. Yeah.
And he's trying to show that the Hulk isn't scary. That's like one of his entire goals is like the Hulk is a good guy. Like he's taking it over and he's like, I want to show the world that the Hulk is actually good. And I think because he's so smart, he is like, I guess, he likes to try and prove it. This is almost an experiment for him, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
But one of the other things I love about him is nearly every time he wins a battle, it's always not with brute force, but it's
but he's
with his
in Hulk.
brain.
He's in Hulk form as well.
Yeah. So he's kind of in like he's in like Professor Hulk in kind of endgame form. So he can talk, he can think and stuff like that, which sometimes he breaks out of and loses it a little bit. But and when he does think like that, he usually finds some sort of like tank of something. And he knows what it is and knows what will happen if he throws it at the thing.
Yeah, totally.
I love that it's Hulk using his brute force scientifically.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to the fact that like before, obviously, Cho became Hulk, he and Bruce Banner, like he was mainly part of like Hulk storylines. He was a good friend of Bruce Banner and that kind of thing. So that's how this kind of happened. But he took the fact that we learn in a couple issues time that he took it on voluntarily compared to Bruce Banner, who it was never like really a voluntary thing for him to do, definitely like feels like it has its impact in this comic where he's like, I am the Hulk, but like, I'm not gonna, like, that's not a depressing thing for me. Whereas for Banner, it was always like a burden a lot of the time. So yeah,
definitely.
Totally agree with you, Josh. Any other final thoughts on issue 1 before we move on?
Nope.
It's another issue like Miss Marvel where I'm like, just if you ever need to make a TV show or a movie, just do this. This is the perfect way to make an Amadeus, like even the little flashbacky bit. Like if you don't have time to put that in a big Avengers movie where Hulk sacrifices, just put it in the start of a show somewhere. Like it all feels very television in a good way.
Totally. And I think like we're encouraged by the fact that Hawkeye seems to be leaning into that. But maybe do it for some other shows, possibly, perhaps.
Miss Marvel, maybe pay more attention to Miss Marvel comics. I don't know.
I just read an article this morning that was like, finally it is officially delayed, and I'm like, okay, maybe
fix it.
I hope it's because they're fixing it, but we'll see. Maybe it wasn't bad in the first place. Who knows? Anyway, back to Totally Awesome Hulk.
Good stuff.
Issue number 2.
Issue number 2.
Yeah, just gonna find us the plot. He's found it.
Here we go. I found it, guys. I found it. So the fight continues with Lady Hellbender. She starts to attack Maddie in the flying meat truck, Amadeus' sister, and Amadeus freaks out. He loses control for this, so Hulk gets out of the trunk of the car, and Amadeus loses it for the first time that we see in this series. And it basically shows that, well, at the end of this, Lady Hellbender just kind of wanted to see what Amadeus had within him. She could see like a glimmer of him, but then fully let it out. And yeah, so she claims after this, Lady Hellbender, everything sort of settles down and they just have an actual conversation with her. She claims to be collecting monsters, not actually causing the increase of monsters on Earth. So that's still kind of a question, because there are just monsters everywhere for some reason all of a sudden, and that's why Amadeus and Maddie are trying to get them all, because they're like, there's monsters everywhere. Why? It's kind of assumed that it's her fault when she arrives, but turns out it's not. And yeah, she says that she tracked a huge monster to this location, who she wants for her collection, and Amadeus goes with her to catch it. And I'm going to let Ben reveal who this monster is, just to hold a little bit back. But back in the flashback realm, it's pretty much more of the same. Hulk is now in a containment capsule underwater, apparently boiling the water because he is so hot.
Yeah, cool detail.
Just holding all of that in. The Iron Man, Monica, and Black Panther, they're all worried about him, but that he's going to release it all. That's pretty much it. There's really not much extra in this, other than now he's in a capsule and they're still worried that he's going to release it all.
My quick note on the Black Panther thing, I like that we see him being a genius. I don't I know, I'm sure I haven't read a lot of Black Panther comics, so I'm sure there's plenty of that. But I just always like to see, like, because T'Challa is very smart. I feel like in the movies we didn't even get as much of that. It was like the focus on Shuri, but like T'Challa is also incredibly
part of the Illuminati. He's part of the smartest minds of Earth.
Guess who else is part of the Illuminati? Amadeus Cho. Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, no,
he was the one human dude. It's like whenever you see the lineup of the Illuminati, it's like Xavier.
So that was basically Amadeus Cho before he became.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, cool.
That was like his main hook.
Yeah, there was a lot of Illuminati in, I think, the new Avengers at the start of Marvel Now.
Yeah.
Which is a great freaking series. That was wild. Like they explode the gems of the Infinity Gauntlet by trying to push another planet away. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good series.
Yeah.
Crazy.
As Josh mentioned, this is a kind of minor issue. Like, there's not a lot that goes on. This is pretty easy one to flick through. Yep. Maybe a little boring, but like I like that we get a big reveal, which I'll get to because I'm very happy about it. But we also just get like a few nice little details. So it's just a nice in between issue for sure. I like at one point that we get to see like Manny's brains. She uses this magic hardening foam goop stuff to help stop. I can't remember who it is. I think Amadeus is either fighting a monster or Lady Hellbender. And she uses it to help him out, but it really just like locks him in with the monster.
No, I think it is the monster that we have yet to reveal.
No, it's like the raptor that Lady Hellbender has. It's like her pet raptor.
Oh, I thought it was the thing because it was eating him, and then he locks him in.
No, it does, because in fact I have it up right here. It is the raptor has a little bit of the goop. This is when Amadeus breaks out of the goop with the raptor in it.
Right.
And I just like how this page looks. I always like when we get like some good verticality in a page. Because a lot of it's often, a lot of comics are often pretty horizontal, but I like the crack, the cra, and then the coom. It's because it's going cra down and then coom across. Yeah. I just had to describe that for the audio listeners. But I also like in here that Lady Hellbender is going and like she's getting beaten up, but she's like the true beast awakens as she is getting like smashed down by Amadeus. It's very good. And I will say I was a bit disappointed they went to more Banner stuff, but it was, as Josh mentioned, it was so little. I was like a bit disappointed because I was really interested in that storyline. The next thing I wanted to point out, again, love how minor Miles' impacts feel in these whole comics compared to everyone else, the way they use like the onomatopoeia, because he's just like tiny little thocks and whips and stuff, and everyone else is going like cracker doom and boom and stuff and all that. But yeah, poor Miles nearly gets choked out here as well.
It does.
Yeah.
His whole head.
His whole head is literally grabbed. And then I just want to mention Lady Hellbender. Wonderful, campy, dumb comic goodness. Doesn't need to be more than she is in this. I think this is like perfect, the perfect kind of character for what this is. She's just here to collect monsters, and she knows it.
Even like how she appears in the first issue feels very like original run of Amazing Spider-Man, when a villain would just turn up and be like, "I'm here to be evil." Ooh!
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. That's fine. That's all you need.
Yeah. Now I'm sure you thought this as well, Will, but we also see her ship, and this is just a sandcrawler, right? This is a giant sandcrawler.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. I can't remember which viewer said it, but someone also said in their notes, this is literally a giant sandcrawler, and I love it.
Yep. It's basically what she's doing. She's just going around getting junk. She's getting
100%,
beast.
Sure.
100%. And then the big reveal, of course. I don't even know if I have an image of it. I'm going to switch back to this one real quick to see what my next one is. No, I don't. But it's fine. It's Fin Fan fucking Foom.
Yeah.
Goofiest face I've ever seen on a monster.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He's just the best.
So goofy.
I'm sorry. He's just the best character in Marvel. I love any time he shows up, as you're probably starting to understand, because he showed up. Mm-hmm. Did he show up in Shang-Chi? He showed up in one of the ones we read recently.
I think he was in Shang-Chi. Yeah. I feel like he was.
But
not that. Black Widow was weirdly in my mind, but anyway,
Yeah, totally. Anyway, Fin Fan Foom, just wonderful. I love him so much. I will read the subtitle they have for him in the next comic because it's amazing. But we do just get at the very end of this issue, it says to be Foom-tinued, which I appreciate a lot.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
The end of every issue is like...
Yeah, I think the first
seems
one...
to have that.
First one is Hulk-tinued, second one is Foom-tinued, third one is Hell-tinued. I don't know what the fourth one was. Missed that. But
I feel like there wasn't one in the fourth one.
I think it might have just been those first two.
The end of the arc.
Yeah, it was the end of the arc, yeah.
But yeah, Fin Fan fucking Foom. I like it because I wrote that like word for word, and then I checked the notes. Dolphin Pant also wrote Fin Fan fucking Foom. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. We're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page. Fin Fan Foom, the greatest. Moving into issue 3. Where's the plot gone? I don't know. Josh, find it for us.
All right, guys. That's right. It's all right. I found it. I've got it. I've got this. All right. So at the beginning, She-Hulk believes that Amadeus has gone rogue to help the enemy, even though, he's just helping out. He's just trying to get rid of Fin Fan Foom or whatever. I think he seems to be the sort of character that wants to like see the positive in people.
For sure.
He's like, no, I think she's better than we give her credit for.
Yep.
So Amadeus is trying to prove to Lady Hellbender that he's still the best, most powerful version of the Hulk without needing to Hulk out. But we can see that he's constantly trying to suppress his anger, not to Hulk out. And that's also through the little mind palace things that he's got going on. So I'm gonna leave some things for the
next bit.
The Ben's next bit, but they do end up in Hawaii.
Somehow
for a fight. And I'll leave the finale of this issue to Ben. But part of the little flashback story that we get, Amadeus, currently unpowered, in the flashback, teleports in to Kenya, where the nuclear stuff is happening, and finds out that the plan to save Kenya and these islands and stuff from Hulk exploding with nuclear energy is to teleport him to the negative zone, being, one of the random zones that the Fantastic Four always seem to use and do stuff in and get their powers from and whatever.
It's in the 2015 movie. Remember that one?
That's it. Yeah.
That's true.
And then they end up shooting Amadeus with a tranquilizer dart and knocking him out.
Yeah.
Again, that's it. These parts are tiny. They're important, but they're tiny. Yeah. So that's all I got for you. And that's issue 3.
Yeah, totally. Issue 3, good one. To start off with, we got a variant alert. I didn't know how I was going to do that, so I did that. Anyway, we have some good variants for this one, which I wanted to point out. This first one is by Michael Cho.
Oh,
I like this a lot.
That is so cool.
Yeah, totally. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's delightful.
It's very poppy. It kind of reminds me of the sort of art at the start of like Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, like that sort of classic animation style, very silhouette-y with minimal color.
For sure.
I feel like those are also probably opposing colors on the color wheel because they pop so well together.
Green and orange. Someone can confirm that for us in the comments. You are a color expert. And then there's one other variant. This is by Mike Perkins and Andy Troy. And I just wanted to point this out because big skateboard, or in this case, big hoverboard is perpetrating everything and anything.
There it is.
Amadeus riding on a hoverboard, skateboard thingy. But it is also
a sync bug indie grab.
That.
It's not how you're supposed to grab that. That's bad. That's bad form.
It's important. It's 2015, so it was probably around when Back to the Future dropped. So they'll put in a little cheeky Back to the Future hoverboard in there.
That's true.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but it's a nice cover, nice variant. So basically, as Josh mentioned, Amadeus and Hellbender are kind of in a little bit of a battle, and he's trying to prove that he's very powerful Hulk. And there's a discussion between Miles and She-Hulk and Cho Hulk about the kind of what happened, what they were trying to do with Banner Hulk, and basically, I love it's a very wordy page, but the little bit I'm going to read is I think So Maddie says, "Sorry, but the Avengers don't have a very good record when dealing with the Hulk." And then She-Hulk says, "Maddie, no one's going to shoot your brother into space." And then Miles just pops in and is like, "Whoa, that was a jump. What's the subtext here?" And then Maddie says, "They shot the Hulk into space." And then Miles' line is just, "That's some pretty unsubtexty subtext." But
I love how small he is as well in that panel.
Yeah, he's so tiny. Yeah,
just a head. It's almost that meme of Spider-Man sitting behind the desk, and it's just like basically his neck and his head behind this giant desk, and it just so out of proportion.
Yeah,
it's essentially what that head shot is there.
So good.
He's so good. And I just love this is the reveal we get of what happened to Banner, but it's just so dumb, which is very good. And then we get the description for Fin Fang Foom, which is Fin Fang Foom, aka he whose limbs shatter the mountains and whose back scraps the sun, let's start again. Fin Fang Foom, aka he whose limbs shatter the mountains and whose back scrapes the sun, ancient alien horror from Kakarana Thara, aka Maklu 4.
There you go.
That's the whole. That's who Fin Fang Foom is. Fin Fang fucking Foom.
I do like at the start of every issue they have these descriptions of everyone. It's nice to have, but they also add a little bit of fun to.
That was a good one. I can't remember which issue it's for, but when they bring Spidey up, it's like Spider-Man, but you know that.
Yeah.
And then we get a Fin Fang fight.
Yes.
At this point, I noted that I really like having like a quippy teenage Hulk. It's a nice change from mega serious Banner. I think. Because Banner can be funny sometimes, but he's normally just like, "Grr, I'm Hulk, grr, snash." And Josh mentioned that we get to Hawaii, and we just get from New Zealand to Hawaii very quickly. Like, I know Fin Fang Foom is big, but the fact that he and Amadeus start the fight in New Zealand and very quickly in Hawaii is very funny at me.
I was initially thinking about this because on a world map, they're on opposite sides of the normal world map.
Yeah,
but like. If you wrap it around, Hawaii and New Zealand would be close-ish.
They're close-ish, but it's still like most of the Pacific Ocean, right?
It is, yeah. Like it's a lot of ocean, but in my head, I'm like, wow, that's a long way to go because that's the opposite side of the world. But I'm like, wait a second, no, they're kind of right there. If you wrap it around, Australia is pretty close to America.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is I really like the way this issue in particular kind of plays with scale, because as you mentioned, we got tiny little Spider-Man and Maddie and stuff. And then we've got the Hulk levels of size, which are most of the monsters they're fighting. And then we have Fin Fang Foom, who's just fucking huge.
Yeah. Just see some scales and some panels.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like Hulk is like the size of a tooth.
Yeah. And there's one line that he has, this is when I mentioned the quippiness. He says, Hulk got your tongue, when he's literally holding on to Fin Fang Foom's tongue. Mm-hmm. Good line. Good line.
I was hoping as I was leading up, I was hoping it was going to be me got your tongue, just for how bad it sounds, because that sounds like that. If there was a film of this, that's the line. It's what's your problem? Me got your tongue.
Totally. Yeah.
Hulk is fine.
It's fine. But yeah, that's mostly issue 3. Again, pretty simple issue, but a good one, because we get lots of Fin Fang fucking Foom.
Fucking Foom.
He's great.
Hopefully we'll see in the next month or two. Some people may have already seen him. We don't know.
Tell us if you have.
Don't let us know, but I hope we do. I really friggin' hope we do.
Yeah.
We got to get him at some point. He was like one of the coolest, funniest characters in Marvel. We got to get him.
Yeah.
I almost think he'll show up in Guardians at this point or something.
In the game? Like I kind of feel like
that would be cool.
Yeah.
There's already so much in that game though. And apparently it's good. That's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Please
be good. we need some good.
Yeah, speaking of good, issue 4, rounding it out.
Josh did the segue this time. That's very exciting. Issue 4.
Yeah, so some stuff happens on Lady Hellbender's ship, which again I'm gonna leave Ben to that if he
Wait, did I reveal the stuff in the last issue? Oh yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, let's go back to the last issue real quick.
Let's go back.
Give me some reveals. Yeah.
Unspeaking of good. We're not speaking of good anymore.
Yeah, so Cho defeats Fin Fang Foom, proves he's the strongest on Earth. Good on him. Yes. Good on him. Yes. Very good. And then Lady Amadeus. I think you meant Lady Hellbender. That's fine.
Give him a bit longer.
My bad. Sorry, that's my
Lady Hellbender knocks Amadeus out with a giant tranquilizer and pulls him up into the spaceship, which is very cool. Yes. Into the sandcrawler. Anyway, back to issue 4. Again, we've lost the plot, but just found it. Good stuff. Let's give it another go.
So some stuff happens on Lady Hellbender's ship after he gets knocked out, and she basically kidnaps him because she saw that he proved his worth, and she's like, all right, you're now one of the monsters that I need in my collection. So I'm going to let Ben reveal what happens, because
I'll remember this time.
A little bit saucy in there. Maddie, She-Hulk, and Miles go after Amadeus in the ship, and they latch onto it with basically like a grappling hook type of thing. Amadeus snaps out of his mind control tranquilizer thing that Lady Hellbender seems to have put on all of the monsters, kind of keeping them at bay, stopping them from breaking out of the capsules that she's got them in.
The classic, what's the thing in Star Wars? The droid.
The restraining bolt.
Restraining bolt. Yeah, that's that kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So Amadeus, he's like, this is itchy, and then basically breaks it. A bunch of monsters fall out of her ship as well. She's like, it's fine. Earth can have them because all I want is you. And then I think he jumps out. He goes to fight them. They all end up fighting them. There's a big old fight. I think they're still in Hawaii, maybe?
Probably. I don't know how everyone else got there, but never mind.
It's a quick flight, apparently. So everyone's fighting them, but Amadeus realizes, or everyone encourages him to Hulk out because they're too strong. Because they're, I think the mind control bolt thing on them, she activates it to make them strong and violent, because without it they're like puppy dogs. So realizes that he needs to Hulk out to be strong enough. We then this is the flashback. I'm doing the flashback in the middle here because it's kind of important. We get the final flashback to Bruce Banner's Hulk. Amadeus somehow was faking being affected by the tranquilizer.
Yep.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how the tranquilizer didn't affect him, because he's not any sort of Hulk at the moment.
Yeah. I think he mentions it, but it's not very clear.
yeah. He's like, no, I was faking it. steals an underwater suit and absorbs the energy from Banner's Hulk, all of it, all of the power.
Yeah.
I think. Does this now mean that Bruce can't be Hulk anymore?
I think so. I don't know.
Or did he just calm him down and relax him?
Not sure.
Being Hulk.
I'm not sure.
I think in my thought, he stole part of it, and Bruce has just calmed down. So but I'm not sure. I know Bruce is Hulk later in the comics, but comics do timey-wimey stuff all the time. So
it's true. But he absorbs it, and he says a very nice line, which
I will bring it up in a second.
You've got it brought up? Yeah, sweet. So it's very good, but that causes taking that on makes Amadeus turn into Hulk, and so there's a crossover frame where he starts to turn into it, and then we go back to Hawaii to the fight where that's where he starts fully hulking out. To Hulk smashing something so hard that he nearly breaks off part of the island, apparently.
Yeah.
So She-Hulk and Maddie, Amadeus' sister, is like, dude, you need to chill out, you need to control yourself, otherwise you will destroy the island and that'll be worse than these monsters. So he does, and he saves the day through science again.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. But I'll let Ben take us away for our deep dive.
Yes, I will. And at the start of my notes again, we have another variant alert.
Wow. Oh, yes.
This one.
And then next time I'm going to get like an air horn sound effect, and we'll get some sound effects into this.
This one is the Women of Power variant. They always like doing some tie-in variants. This one is very cool. It is by Megan Hetrick. And I'm going to see it right now. It's a She-Hulk one.
Very, very nice. Sick.
Look at that hair.
Yeah, that hair. Little bits of rubble in the hair. It's very good. Classic She-Hulk outfit.
It's almost like Medusa-esque too. The way it's sort of curling around and stuff. It almost looks
totally
snake-esque.
Totally.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the variant that I was going to point out for this one. But yeah, as Josh mentioned, some stuff happens on Lady Hellbender's ship. The main thing, there's a cheeky little kiss. Cheeky little Hellbender Cho kiss. It's a bit weird because we don't really get the age of Lady Hellbender, but I feel like it's implied that she's a lot older than
I feel like she's
Amadeus,
like years old,
which is a bit concerning.
And it's quite funny because in issue 1, he flirts a little bit with She-Hulk, and Maddie's like, "Are you flirting with her?" And Amadeus is like, "Come on, she's like 40."
Yeah, totally.
And I love that conversation because whenever he talks to his sister, it's always about She-Hulk. Yeah. And how she's like a little bit attractive or whatever, and She-Hulk's like, "What?" You can hear the whole conversation happening.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is the only reason I'm bringing up this page is because I think Dolphin Pants mentioned it, and then one of you brought this up to me just before our recording. It's very small at the bottom. We'll barely be able to see it, but it says Vote Loki 2016 Believe. I don't know why it's there. None of us do. Very random.
Super random ad.
Go watch our Vote Loki episode.
Yeah, it's there. If you look hard enough, you'll find it.
It's definitely up. We definitely recorded an issue of Vote Loki, and it definitely went up on the channel and definitely didn't get lost in the ether somewhere.
No,
absolutely.
It's out.
Definitely. But it was definitely July?
Definitely some point in a month, which we put up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's a cheeky little kiss. Then we get a monster pile-on, which I don't think I saved the page of, but basically there's a bit where She-Hulk is holding a stop sign on top of all the monsters, and it's very kind of funny. I like it. I like it a lot.
Pretty good.
And then, yeah, as Josh mentioned, we have the little moment that Amadeus and Bruce share when they're transferring over the power. It's very lovely. It's kind of... because Banner and Amadeus have been friends previously, and as Banner is slowly losing the Hulk from him, he's getting sadder and sadder as he's like realizing that Amadeus is taking over aspects of the Hulk, and he's like crying, and Amadeus thinks it's because he's like been trapped and all this stuff, but Banner's like, I'm not crying for me, and then we get Amadeus turned into the Hulk, going all Hulk time. But yeah, my implication from this was that Banner hasn't lost all of his Hulk because he has so much energy in him that Amadeus is just absorbing what he can of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very touching little scene.
It's a powerful moment. Yeah, it's so nice.
In a comic series that's pretty lighthearted and stuff, this is very nice page to have for sure. And then we get this other bit where Amadeus is in his car and he's letting the Hulk out. Hulk's sitting in the back seat. And I wanted to bring this up. It's just a very weird page.
It is.
So I was trying to work out, Spidey's in his own little car at the bottom, which I do like.
In the buggy.
But it's not, for some reason, it's not Miles Spider-Man.
It's Peter in there, yeah.
Ghost Rider's in this.
Yep.
Don't know why. We've got what I thought was Rhino and Thing cars. And it is a Thing car. It's a clobbering time. It says clobbering time on it.
Clobbering time, yeah.
And then I think there's like an Iron Man or Lady Hellbender, but it's just a lot of it's not relevant to the rest.
Not at all. Like, does this mean he's in a race? Like, has he been racing all these people this whole time with Hulk in the back or something? Like, why are they all driving around as well?
Maybe. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
But some nice cameos, I guess. I guess it is probably a race. That's probably what it is. It's the spider buggy, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But then also...
that and the ghost, like, assumedly his bike, are the only ones that exist. It's like, what happened? Where he's just a great imagination on the other two.
But if you notice also at the very bottom, the, like, actual wheels, you can barely see it, but the wheels have, like, a little Spider-Man logo on them, and that's the Miles logo. So I don't know what's going on. It's very confusing, but it's a cool page.
I like that the Thing's tires have a T on them.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
but this is kind of this is him showing that they've pulled the trigger on Hulk being released and being allowed out. And that's why there's so many explosions happening, because
totally.
The Thing is out. The car's got all this power now.
Yeah.
Good to go.
And I guess it's just because he's destroying really strong characters. That's probably what it is.
The Thing is out? I said the Thing is out.
Well, yeah, but I guess thinking about it, it's that, like, the Hulk is a really strong character and the Rhino and Thing are really strong characters. And it's just plowing through them. I guess that makes sense, kind of. I don't know what Ghost Rider's there, but anyway, moving on. And then this last bit, which there's a couple great things on this page. Top left, we have Spider-Man serving ramen. I want Spider-Man to serve me ramen.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And then we also...
He's got his hat on too.
Yeah. Chef's hat. It's serving it out of the meat wagon as well. Very cute.
So good.
And then She-Hulk's holding a little box that says kimchi, but actually has all the miniaturized monsters inside it. And then one gets out. And what is it?
It's a freaking Where the Wild Things Are character.
It's very
so weird. As soon as I was reading down and I saw that, I'm like, is that the Thing? And so I quickly Googled it, because I'm like, I had to double check, but I'm like, I'm sure it's that. What a weird choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where the Wild Things Are, that's not like Disney at all, is it?
No, it's a children's book.
But it was,
there was a movie about it as well.
I don't know.
I think that was definitely a side company. That wasn't it.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, super and we get the reveal of what the next arc is, which Amadeus sees Hulk in the mirror in his fleeting vision, and then he looks back and it's not there, and then we get next the Hulk in the mirror, which apparently is very good. We will never know, because we'll never read it.
No, never ever. We don't read outside of this.
But yeah, that's the whole run. It's
good run.
Well, it's not the whole run, sorry. It's all of what we read.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
It's the most run that we're going to let us do. We don't want to run anymore. We just want to run for Forrest.
I don't want to run anymore.
Tired of running.
We're worked out.
I don't know. Final viewer comment time. Because I said I wasn't going to run through them during the issues, but I'm going to incorporate what you said at the end here. Dolphin Pants, I gave you a few shout outs in there because I noticed that your only end comment here was, I really enjoyed this one, guys. So thanks, Dolphin Pants. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So did we. And then Jade, who just got some notes in earlier this morning, said, I had to buy an e-copy this time. Jade normally buys a physical copy. But she says, hopefully I haven't panic bought the wrong one. You did it. You got the right one. She says, I recognize artist Frank Cho. He does lovely detailed work. Definitely, I agree. Didn't recognize the other artist or the writers. I'm very bad with names. That's okay. That's why we have the section at the start. That's it. Why we have Comic Curiosities. Boom. I don't know what that was.
I don't think we recognized any of the other names either. Just Frank.
Yeah, no, I didn't recognize any of them, and then I found out that I'd read a bunch of the ones that Greg Pak had done. So that's cool. Jade says, I'd just like to point out the Alien Queen ship. Totes looks like a Jawa sound crawler. Yeah, definitely.
There it is.
Yeah. Also, anyone can see where her collecting is going, but I'm here to get a handle on New Hulk. I'm only vaguely aware of Chalk. I think he cameoed in a volume of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Another good comic. Okay. So I'm super interested in seeing the difference between Banner and Amadeus. I find it endlessly amusing that superhero comics are littered with teenagers in charge of matters that may impact the entire planet. Literally, the entire premise of the Champions comics, which I do highly recommend, which Amadeus does start showing up in. Nice. Less amusing is the number of adult females being flirty with teenager Chalk. I know he's a hornbag, but I will say, definitely, that was my thoughts as well. Definitely, he can be a bit of a flirty boy, but maybe dial back a little bit. I love the continuing metaphor of Amadeus being in control of the car, first with the Hulk being barely contained in the trunk, then in the back seat, then the front passenger seat, then the driver's seat, then chair and control. Very nice. It's a clever way to show Cho's state, and way better than just having endless close-ups of a constipation face. This is true. This is true. You also verbalized that way better than any of us could, so good job.
Absolutely. That was great.
I like the mix of comedic moments, drama, and character development, although there are a lot of cameos here. Is that a staple of Marvel Comics in general, or of this series in particular? Yes, it is a staple of Marvel Comics in general.
They've got every character. They can use them, at least for now. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, God. Regardless, I might be tempted to continue with this series. Might be tempted. You should, because apparently it gets good.
Apparently. We can't say, though.
We can't say. We don't know, and we never will.
We never will.
And then Joshy, who did not like these at all, and I haven't actually read exactly why yet, but I'm curious. So, he says, I wanted to like this, if only because of the cultural significance and how few Korean-American superheroes get portrayed, let alone have their own solo title. But this writer, while writing some intriguing flashbacks of Cho getting powered, makes everybody in the modern day feel one note and show their personalities as skin deep and impenetrable as gamma irradiated skin. Good sentence.
Yes.
The writing of female characters is shoddy at best, and those characters are mostly just unimportant there as window dressing even the central villain we're here for, Lady Hellbender. Miles Morales, another culturally significant character with a deep, rich backstory, is similarly squandered, reduced to basic comedic sidekick, but at least he got to rescue some hostages, so accomplished something. Miles Morales' ultimate Spider-Man run blows this out of the water. The artwork and inking were always highly competent, but I'll admit I can't think of a moment that ever made me go, wow. It's interesting to read the letters page in issue 4, because while obviously biased, it does suggest there's people who genuinely enjoyed this run of Hulk and the accompanying writing. Does this story make me think less of Cho's Hulk in other books? I'll try not to let this negative experience taint the Champions book, which I love, and will try not to be upset if he's included in a future lineup. I think in the hands of a stronger writer, this character could still be brash and cocky, while still being smart and conflicted, and complicated like the writing team were trying to fumble for, while still being fun. There's a version of this character that'll knock folks' socks off. This is not that version. 1 out of 5 broken collection cylinders.
Wow.
That was a lot.
Scathing.
That was a scathing review. I don't fully disagree. Like, I agree with elements of it. Like, I guess my thing is, you're right in a lot of elements. I just also don't think they affected my reading of it as much as they did you.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't expecting a comic called The Totally Awesome Hulk to have a whole lot of depth.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah. It's also a thing of any of these solo runs of characters. No one else is important. Like, you can't expect any of the cameo appearances to have the depth of their solo runs. They're always there as window dressing to give world building to it being a Marvel issue, but to allow that central character to have their progression. They're not going to change within someone else's issue.
And I totally think that's the main thing I disagree with here is that I really like the way they used Miles in this comics. I think he was necessary. They're going to use a Spider-Man in this. I think it's good to use a Spider-Man in this, and obviously Miles is the one they were pushing at that time, so it makes sense to use him. And I feel like he's needed there for some of the best comedic moments when he's like just thocking someone and he's doing a really bad job at it.
Thocking someone.
Just thocking someone. But yeah, no, thank you for all those comments. I think this is how we'll do this in future. You're still welcome to share your thoughts in the Comiccast channel for the individual issues. I might try and incorporate them into this end bit, but I think this is a better flow of how things to go, and we can just chat about your thoughts at the end if you guys agree. I think it's good. But yeah, I don't know. Brief score. What would you guys give this comic? We haven't been doing this before, but we're going to do it now because Josh gave it a score.
I hate scoring stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm making you do it.
so much.
I'll give it 6 variant covers out of a possible 2.
Nice.
6 out of 2.
Yep. Okay. Moving on. Josh, what do you give it?
What?
Joshua, you need to understand that this is how anyone who doesn't want to score things, this is how you have to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Says it, but you've got to be stupid. You've got to be stupid.
I came up with a real score.
Well, you can give a real score, but you don't have to.
Don't be real, Joshua. Fucking hell.
Damn it.
We've just floored him.
Now you've ruined it. Now you've ruined my. I don't know where to go from here now.
You can be the real one.
I'll do the real one. I was gonna say a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
4 out of 5 stars because I thought it was really fun. It was an easy read. It wasn't like too deep. Anyone could just jump in and read this. For the most part, I feel, because most of these characters are either well in the public eye or are pretty self-explanatory. Like She-Hulk
is a Hulk. You're already reading about Hulks.
Yeah, you've got it. You get it. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like it's accessible. Easy read, nice and quick, and just fun. It was a lot of fun. So 4 out of 5 stars.
And on the Fin Fan Foom scale, I'm going to rate it Fin Fan fucking Foom.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
All right, that's that.
The reason I don't give ratings is I give everything a 3. If I was going to rate anything, everything's a 3. Everything's always a 3. Nothing is more than a 3 because everything exists in their own bubble. So it's impossible to give it a score more than 3 because it's a 3 in its own right, but maybe it's a 4 compared to that thing. I hate it. Yeah. Fuck ratings. I left a well-paying job so I didn't have to rate things anymore.
I will say you literally scored this a 3 because 6 out of 2, 6 over 2 is 3.
There you go.
So you did it again.
Yeah. I was math. I will say I like giving ratings, but I also like giving dumb ratings. So
yeah, dumb ratings are more fun.
So maybe this will make a comeback. Who knows?
I'll think about it more next time.
We'll find out next time. On what are we doing? I didn't prepare this.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing next time?
Well, next month is Hawkeye.
That was like we're going to do like weekly.
Yeah, how do we want to do this? We're doing it live. Well, no, we won't be doing the Comic Cast live. Oh, we could, but probably won't be. What are we doing next month? We had this prepared beforehand. We totally didn't. But we're going to do a special double event of the ETTO Comic Cast for November. There'll be a part 1 and a part 2 because next month Hawkeye's coming out and it's delightful. We're so excited. We watched a trailer. There is a trailer reacts up on the ETTO YouTube channel, I believe.
And the same place you can find the Vote Loki podcast.
Yeah, definitely. So how we're going to do it? We're going to do, the show seems to be largely focused in New York, and the first 13 issues of the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run are all based in New York, from what I can tell. I may have screwed that up, but who knows? We'll find out. But anyway, so we're going to do 1 through 6. Is going to be our first lot, and then we're going to do 7 through 13 for the second lot. There's a lot of comics to cover here. They may be long ones because we've cut down this podcast, but who knows? We might go back long again. We probably will. There'll probably be a lot of Matt Fraction because we like these comics a lot, in case you didn't know from us mentioning it almost every chance we get.
Every episode.
And if you watch that trailer react,
we like it. We like
it a bit. Sorry, Joshy, but this is what we're doing.
Dad. We're going to make you like it. You've got no choice.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much content about the Hawkeye run and Hawkeye in general.
Yeah.
You've got no choice.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing in November. Get your thoughts into us ASAP because we don't know when we'll be recording them, but probably early so we can get them going and get them ready for when Hawkeye comes out. Anyway, that's been the Comic Cast for September, October. That's been the Comic Cast for October of the year 2021. Not a great year, but a good month for comics. Good year for comics. Yeah. I've been Ben.
I've been Will.
I've been Josh. Nice.
And that's how we do it.
What a tagline. What an ending tagline.